Hi everyone, welcome back to another LinkedIn live session with me. And today I have three more experts joining us to discuss about the topic on personal branding. Now, I think personal branding is a topic we all love to talk about. It's trending, everybody wants to get new strategies, everybody wants to know how everyone else is doing it, because obviously during this pandemic, this confinement, everyone's meant to do business online, globally connect with people online, and people want to know how to do it better. Okay, but before we discuss more about personal branding today, I just want to talk about where I come from. I'm the CEO of SpellersAcademy.com. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my platform where we feature a lot of experts, including those that is speaking on a panel today. Okay, so I'm just going to show you my website really quickly. Okay, so this is my website, SpendlersAcademy.com. So basically on this website, you can start a user account completely free and you can access hundreds of business webinars. Now, most of the webinars would be covering professional development, but there are also webinars that cover personal development, helping you with stress management, mental health, surviving from trauma. So there's a lot of things that you can learn from people all over the world. So those experts that is on our platform comes from different countries as well as from different areas of expertise. Simply click on the webinars on the website and you find a lot of options. So for example, here on my screen right now, I can see you can sign up for surviving trauma and abuse, secret formula path for liberty. This is me, the pros and cons of social media platforms, business model canvas, how to market yourself. So basically, there's a lot of trending business topics that you should not miss out. Every single webinar is only 1 hour long and you don't even need to turn on your microphone or your camera. So there's absolutely no pressure for you tuning in wherever you are, whether you're on a couch, you're waiting for a bus, or you're commuting on a train. So the objective is just getting you connect with real experts, sharing their real experiences in real time. And in case you enjoy any of those sessions, so for example, you sign up and participate, and you enjoy the session completely with the particular experts, feel free to connect with them on their social media, or you can also book them via a coaching call. So if you want a one-to-one mentorship, consultation, advice, you can also book them right away on our platform. So we have more than 189 experts right now. We ran 412 webinars last year with educated 8,000 professionals from 32 countries. So we cannot wait to see what we can achieve this year. So, and we host all these LinkedIn live sessions every single week, hosted by me. And today's topic, we're going to go back to talk about personal branding. So I want to say hi to those who's joining us really quickly. Hi. Thank you for joining us from Kuala Lumpur, from India. So tell us a little bit more where you're from, why you're here, how do you feel about personal branding right now? Are you struggling in what way? What's limiting you from doing it? I want to know more so that we can address it together with the experts today. So without wasting time, I'm going to bring three of my experts on board and we're going to say hi to them really shortly. Hi everyone, how are you?
All
Hi,
good
Leza.
here. How about you?
Hi, gentlemen. Good, thank you.
Perfect.
Hi.
Hello.
We're
Hi,
really
Tufail.
excited. Hello. So we're really excited.
Hi.
So we've got the crowd coming in and everybody is interested to know more about personal branding. We've got people from Malaysia, from India. So thank you so much for joining us. Not hesitate to ask questions at all. I'm very sure the experts will be more than happy to answer them today. So we're going to start with introducing ourselves. Maybe we start with Abhilekh about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for the moment.
Yeah, so it's always a pleasure to be here on Splendless Academy. So it's a good thing here. And I do sales coaching. I help a lot of corporates, small and medium enterprises, and startups in building their teams. And I'm also a keynote speaker. I do a lot of public events in terms of online right now. And at times I also do copywriting because I really love ads. I love marketing. So these are the things I'm very passionate about.
Thank you so much. And Abhilekh, you're tuning in from India, am I right? Yep, perfect. So we
Absolutely.
also
I'm
have
really
Gladys from Penang, Malaysia. Thank you. So Gladys, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi. So yes, it's always a pleasure to be online with you, Leza. So I'm Gladys. I'm a facilitator with the Virtues Project. I conduct free webinars and also paid workshops on Spenders Academy. I also do coaching calls on Spenders Academy. What I do really is to encourage people to practice their virtues because it is to be at our best. it is about really be at our best, whether in good times or in bad times, because we all want to lead a meaningful and purposeful life. So I have also just completed a corporate training for the head of department to really create a culture of character in their environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tufail, maybe you can tell us where you're logging on from, as well as a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Spendless Academy. Thank you, Leza, for inviting me over here. And greetings from Pakistan. Hi, Abhilekh, and hi, Gladys. This is Tufail Ahmed Khan, and I have been working on my own personal brand for a long time. And I help organizations and help individuals in development, training, event management for virtual and hybrid events as well. And for past few years, when I got to know about the importance of the personal brand, so not only I started working on my own personal brand, I started teaching as well, because you know that by teaching you get more things and you learn daily. So I started teaching as well. I started posting visuals on personal branding. So this is all from my side. I have right now in a public sector institute as a business head in Pakistan, and working closely with few individuals around the world on personal development and personal branding. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So for those of you tuning in, they are all experts on SpendlessAcademy.com. So if you want to pursue in depth what they're able to teach, go on to sign up for their webinars upcoming on SpendlessAcademy.com. So we're going to start with the first question, which is trying to define what personal branding really is. What does that mean? Do I always have to put my selfie out there? What does it mean? Do I always have to talk about me? So I want to hear your definition. What does it mean to personal brand? And what is your first step in building a personal brand? So Abhilekh, will start off the question with you.
So for me, personal brand is all about sharing your story to the world, taking your thoughts process, how you do everything in day-to-day life, and making sure that you're able to create that kind of an ecosystem for the people whom you live with, so they also get to use to understand what you actually do and how you could actually collaborate, because today it's all about collaboration. And with Spendless Academy, we've been learning a lot of personal branding as well. So there's a lot of things as an individual we could do, whether it be spending income on just hiring somebody to design the website, or designing the logo part. But these are some important things I feel in building a personal brand.
Thank you so much. Gladys, how about yourself? What does it mean to personal brand, and what's your first step in building your personal brand?
Yeah, so personal branding to me is, as the word suggests, personal, right? So it's personal. It's all about who you are. So the first step really for me, I think, is to know who you truly are, right? And it doesn't really have to be always about you, but how you talk about situations or scenarios. So the way you communicate in your profile or your post or your video shows who you are.
Yep, definitely. Thank you so much. And we also know people influence people. I think with the basis of personal relationship, when people know who you are, what kind of character you are, and if once people resonate with that, it's easier for people to build trust and do business with you without even physically seeing you. Tufail, what about yourself? Can you let us know what does it mean to personal brand, and what is your first step in building a personal brand?
Yeah, in my point of view, in personal branding, you don't have choice to be a brand or not, because people will get your brand. Means if it depends on you whether you drive it or not. If you are not working on your personal brand, the people around you, your peer, your family, your friends, your professionals, your customers will make your brand by themselves. But if you work on your personal brand by yourself in a driving seat, then you will be able to make a good personal brand. So personal brand is the practice of marketing yourself and your career as a brand. And the first step is research, means the purpose. why you want to be a personal brand and where do you want to go. Means if you and there's a misconception about personal brand where which I would like to mention over here, that people think about that personal branding is only for sales and marketing professional or advertising professional, but it is not like that. Even if you are in any field, finance field, or if you are a student, personal brand is for everyone. So the first step should be research the purpose, why you want to and where do you want to go with your personal brand. The first step is research about you, the business, because this is the business about you. This is not the business about your employer. This is not the business about your own business. This is the business of you. So if you are going to business of you, then you have to search about you, that where do you want to go, in which field you want to be an expert, and where do you want to position yourself as an online and offline, and how do you want to go about you, that where do you want to take your personal brand to that level. So this is about, I think, personal branding is the practice of marketing yourself and your career as a brand.
Yep, thank you so much for sharing that. I like that you mentioned research work needs to be done, right? Because you don't want to go all out into personal brand, but you don't know who you're trying to attract. You don't know what kind of target audience you want to do. And in the end, you end up building an audience that's not relevant for you. And
Yeah.
it's nonsense. If you have 100,000 people, that is totally never going to contribute anything to you, collaboration or monetization, then it's just a waste of effort. So being clear, I guess, in the beginning is one of the things that we need to do. Going back to Gladys' point of view just now, you mentioned that personal brand doesn't always have to be about your personal face. It has to also can be your personal thoughts, your personal opinion, your personal experiences, or it could be the experience of somebody you know personally. You know, maybe your colleague passed away and it's something that affects you and it's a story you can tell. It didn't really happen to you, but it happened around you that contribute to your personal development. So I really like that you mentioned it, because Gladys, a lot of people think that, okay, personal means I have to talk about my story and I have to go back to my childhood story. I mean, some things are really personal, you don't have to share. But I'm just saying it can also come with a personal element. And I agree with Abhilekh saying that collaboration is the new currency. And if people don't know who you are, there's no way they're going to collaborate with you. If we all never be or never do business before, we'll probably never end up in a live panel discussion right now, because we've done something together. We know each other. I know you, you know me, and it makes it easier to do future collaborations from here. So now that we know personal branding and roughly what it is, right? Some people who are just starting out right now, they are still a bit clueless on what they can expect. So Leza, if I put myself out there, what will come back to me? So that's an interesting question. You can share it from your personal experience as well. But what do you think, okay, a personal brand can contribute to a person? What can I get back if I put myself out there? And if other people are limiting it, what do you think are the reasons why? Abhilekh, will start off with you.
Yeah, I think one important thing I have realized when it comes to personal branding is visibility online. So earlier, when I was not spending money when it comes to personal branding, so not many people used to know me. So I can really leverage my network, and most importantly, I'm becoming more identifying in person, right? So people know me when they search a sales coach, so they can actually see what are the things I've done, and they can actually use that knowledge to improve their lifestyle. So I feel you never know what might happen, but you should definitely think about being a personal brand. So as a person, I believe in documenting a lot of things. So that has really helped me. So during my college year, I used to document a lot, and that I can actually teach to my mentees or somebody who wants to follow me and they don't want to go to that same process of building their personal brand again and again. So I feel these are some important things when it comes to contributing, to a person for personal branding.
So what do you think stops people from doing it? Even if they know there are good things can come out of it, you've mentioned it, but still some people cannot bring themselves out there. You know, what do you think the reason is limiting people?
So one of the reasons is fear of uncertainty. So people feel like, what if I fail? Or there are some mind blocks they have. Like they have seen somebody going into that moment, but they're not like, okay, there's a failure ahead, so they don't keep on trying. But when you go to talk to serial entrepreneurs and people like venture capitalists, you will understand. It's all about that game. That zero sum game. Once you win it, you're going to win it again and again. So it's just about the try initially. When you start as a personal brand, you feel a little bit hesitant, But once you keep trying, you'll get that idea. Okay, this is the way how I should do. This is the way how I should avoid, and that way it will really make the thing simpler.
Perfect. I think in the beginning, whenever any of us do anything new, it's always the first step is always like, okay, this is so hard, okay? But once you
Right.
get into the momentum and you realize that, okay, I think I can overcome this hurdle, this problem, and I can do better, and it becomes easier. Same like writing. When we were a child, we start to write. The first time is always very hard. But at some point, you get into momentum and writing becomes a pleasure. You know, it's like I can pick up a pen and write something. So it's the same skill anyway. Thank you for sharing that. Gladys, how about yourself? From a personal point of view or in general, what do you think personal brand can contribute to a person and what is limiting them from doing it?
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think it contributes confidence. Because like I mentioned just now, the previous question you asked, it is to know who we really are, right? So when we, and I think it can contribute to personal confidence, because when you know who you are, you know what are your strengths, and you also know what you need to develop, the things or the characteristics that you're not so strong in yet. So when you know your strengths and your not so strong virtues, then you are confident what you're capable of and what you need to work on. And I believe when you put yourself out there, you don't have to show confidence all the time. And that's when people will get to know you better. And I believe that clients will want to continue working with you because they see your sincerity, your truthfulness, and future clients want to work with you. Or if you are an employee and you're looking for employment, employer might want to hire you because you know yourself already. So, and when we know ourselves well, it contributes confidence in ourselves. And what is limiting a person from doing it? I guess maybe for one, they don't really know themselves, or they don't have the words. So my suggestion is use virtue words to express yourself, right? For me, what is stopping me from putting myself out there is because I don't like to be so-called in the public eye. I don't like to be so-called exposed, So for me, I like to be in the back end more so. So that is what is limiting me. For the other person, I don't know. It could be various of reasons.
So thank you for sharing that. I think not only you, I think a lot of people as well, suddenly when they have to put themselves out there, it's always difficult because of the imposter syndrome that we guys know about. It's just that people don't feel so comfortable. They feel that they are cracking themselves open for the world to judge, to see, and they don't know what will come back and bite them another day with the information they share. But I also wanted to add on that it can be moderate because you don't have to force yourself to, for example, post every single day as everybody does. I think you should do it moderately on what suit you best. So maybe once a week, yes, we'll see a post that has your picture in it. But the other times, probably you sharing your opinions and thoughts about an article or, a business venture. So it doesn't necessarily has to be you out there because once it gets stressful, people quit. That's exactly the problem. Once they go like, this is not me. This is not me. I don't feel that this resonates with me. And people will stop all the effort and then all the past effort becomes fruitless. Tufail, coming back to you, what can personal brand contributes to a person? For your business, for example, what has it gained you so far? And what is limiting a person from doing it?
Yeah. In my point of view, there are two things which contribute to a person. First, professionally, and second, personally. Professionally, your work will become more stronger. You become an expert, or you are going to be an expert in your field. Means professionally, your work will become more stronger and more stronger day by day when you work on a personal brand. And personally, your goals uh, are more achievable. Means your personal goals, your financial goals are more achievable. So there are two things which contributes to a personal brand. If you have been working on it professionally, your work will become more stronger. You become an expert in your niche. You become expert in your field, and you show yourself as an expert, as a mentor, as a coach in your field, and people get to know about you. And personally, whatever you have set your goals, financial goals, or your other personal goals, that become more achievable. So there are two personal and professional contribution to a personal brand. And what is a limitation to a person. What I think, there are two my other colleagues over are here, and they must agree with me on this, that time management means I heard from a lot of people that I don't have time. I don't have time to be online. Where Abhilekh pointed out very rightly about the online presence. So I agree on this, but people mostly complain, and there's a limitation for them is a time management, because everyone has a 24 hours. Even Bill Gates and any other influentials in the world, they all have, and we all have the 24 hours, not more than that. But there are priorities which we have to set for our personal brand, for our development, for our own development. So there's a time limitation, and everyone has been complaining over here that we don't have time for these type of things, for personal branding, for personal development, for visibility online, for working on a LinkedIn, for posting, and for engaging audience through the LinkedIn articles, through the blogs. We don't have time. We have lots of work at the office. We have lots of issues at home. So we cannot work like this. So everybody has a time problem. There's a time management issue with everyone over here. And not in Pakistan, not in India, not in Malaysia, but around the world, people have been complaining on the managing time or the priorities management. So this is the main limitation, I believe.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that if people, for me personally, the opportunities that I get from personal brand. So as you know, I actually started business from home 10 years ago. So nobody really knows me. But I realized when I did personal brand, the opportunities that I got back are, for example, sales lead, I have investments. So a lot of amazing things that I cannot achieve without being online, I actually do when I put myself out there. So time management, I think, right, to file as well. I think that's a good factor, but also because people don't know where to start, so they think there's a lot of work. But actually, I think once they get into the momentum and realize, okay, if I dedicate half an hour a day, I might put out something nice and I might get some sales lead. And who wouldn't want it, right? To spend half an hour on something and get, let's say, a client that pays $5,000. And people go like, okay, now this is my priority. Personal branding has now become my priority. So thank you for sharing that. Going on to the next question, because now that we already discussed how important for personal branding and what kind of opportunities we can get back, the problem is everyone's doing it. That's the problem, because he's personal branding, she's personal branding, my competitors, my peers, my clients, everybody's doing it. So how do we actually stand up in this competitive market? How do we set ourselves apart? Is there any tip that you can share personally, what you do, that you feel is setting you apart from your competitors? So Abhilekh, let's start with you.
So I think most importantly, I feel right now is empathy, which really helps in getting more clients for me. So if I understand about what they really want, and I should be compassionate about that. And another thing I feel right now, which really separates me from the competitors, is knowledge of the product. Because people don't want to buy any product or solutions from somebody who's not an expert, right? As Tufail mentioned, so expert is something very important. So it's important you really have that focus, and you know exactly what are your plus and what are your minus, so you could actually get customers based on that. Another few skill sets I see when it comes to separating myself from competitors is patience and flexibility. So I'm also flexible with my clients, and I have a lot of tolerance level and patience. That has really helped me in terms of making sure that my customers stick to me and they don't move to competitors and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Gladys, how about you? How do you think we can set ourselves apart from our competitors?
Yeah. So, So for me, I'm talking a lot more about identity branding, right? Because I'm talking about the characteristics a lot more. So it is. So I'm really talking about identity branding, and it is. To me, I think it's not important what your competitors are doing, because how you set yourself apart. For me, it's really to be the best version of yourself on a daily basis. Practice your virtues, right? Yeah. So this means you strive to practice your virtues. Speak and act with integrity, right? When you have made a mistake, be accountable. Practice the virtues of humility and confidence to learn from your mistakes, make amends, and move on, right? Be honest and truthful, and be assertive, and yet be tactful and be considerate of others, right? So it is just striving to practice your virtues every day to be the best version of yourself, because there's only one of you in the world, right? How your clients and how your future clients or how your employer experience your honesty, your creativity, or your determination, or your joy, or your respect, how they experience all these characteristics will be different than how they experience my respect or my creativity or my joy or my accountability, because we are two different people. So it is really just to be the best version of yourself, right? You compete with yourself. You raise the bar of your characteristics. You raise the bar of your identity, strengthening your inner qualities, right? That's the branding that I'm talking about. And because there's only you, right? That's the branding of you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I guess when we showcase ourselves out there as authentic, as genuine as the person we really are, we allow people to make an open decision whether they want to work with somebody like us. And if they said, like, you know what, I know everything about her, and I think I'm going to get along with her, and that's there you go, a relationship established. And maybe your competitor is a different person than you, not to say better or worse, but then the client decides, okay, that other person, I kind of don't resonate as much as I do with this person. So people make a decision based on who you are as an identity point of view. Thank you for sharing that. Tufail, now how do you set yourself apart from your competitors? It's so competitive now. I think he froze, right? We might have to move on to the next question until Tufail comes back. Tufail, are you there?
Yeah.
Are you able to
Can you hear
hear
me?
us? Okay. Yes, we do now. The question is, how do we set ourselves
Yeah.
apart from our competitor?
Yeah. I would like to start with a quote, is that personal branding is what people say about you when you are not in the room. So when you have same quality, when you have a same quality, when we have a same pricing of the brand, so when we have same things, same quality, same value in the brands which we consume, so we seek the brand reviews, we seek what people say about that brand. So I think as the similar is the case with our personal brand as well. So if we want to stand out from the crowd, so we have to make our reviews as well. Means when we have a good profile on LinkedIn and we have a good visibility on the
I think the connections there is taking us off. But I want to continue what he said. He just gave us an idea. Whenever we do collaboration like this, what we should do is once this ends, we can always give a testimonial to each other, because that kind of add value and give credibility, because now we know each other, we know our depth of knowledge. Because like he said, sometimes the review of what you have done in the past for other people actually make you stand out from other people who have less reviews or no reviews or just starting out. So that could be our strength when we give testimonials and reviews to each other. Now, moving on to the next question is about making money, which is a very interesting part. People want to know more. So how do we actually make money from our brand? Tufail, we'll come back with the next question to you. Yeah. So we're moving on to the next question. So how can we monetize from our personal brand? It's okay. So Abhilekh, you especially, you're a sales coach. Of course, sales coach means you want to get money, right? You're helping your clients get money. You are going to get money. So how do we do that smartly with our personal brand? And how soon can we do? Once we get on LinkedIn, can we already make money next month? How is this?
So I wrote a post on LinkedIn. You could make actually a course in next 24 hours. That's fast how you can make. Because you have Zoom, you have all the technology right now. When I was in the college, I was just really struggling to find such tools in 2012. That time these tools were not available, but now to the current generation, you can make video courses. You can even sell subscription to a podcast if it is working well. There are also some ideas. What I had is like you could write some blogs to the CEO of some companies, do some samples for them, and then help them to understand how to improve their content. So this is also something somebody who's starting out their personal brand, they could actually do to impress people around them. And another important thing I have seen right now, like people doing a lot of things to make a lot of things, is to doing live sessions on different platforms, just like on LinkedIn. They are promoting a specific product or brand, or it could be a Facebook live or a YouTube live. That really works. So anyone can go on YouTube and they can actually start promoting. Even on Instagram, it really works. So these are some of the things people can really start getting monetized if you have everything set up, you have a good following and stuff like that.
Thank you. So what you gave us is a lot of examples how people can creatively package their service offerings or their products, and then of course using their personal brand to mention or get call to action for people to consider doing more with them, like subscribing to their podcast, or like attending their Zoom webinar for a product showcase, so on and so forth. Thank you so much. So Gladys, how do you think we can monetize our personal brand? You're coming from a coach as well for your facilitation workshop. So how soon can we do that, and how can we do it well?
Well, like mentioned just now, it can be as soon as you put out a post, right? Because depending on what the person is looking for, because everyone is it's very competitive these days. You do personal branding workshop, other people are doing as well. But if you put yourself out there, the characteristics that you are, right, that makes you different maybe from the rest. And if somebody sees that, hey, I like that kind of character of that person, I'll go with that person. So you may just put out something that show your characteristics that someone is looking for, that they have not seen it in the market. So the monetizing can be almost immediate if they see your post and they like how you carry yourself, the characteristics you possess, and you strive to practice certain virtues. Yeah, so it can be almost immediate, in my opinion.
So I really believe that what Gladys mentioned about your identity, if you're very confident that you're a nice person, you're a hardworking person, and you showcase yourself that way, just adding on to that, I think we must be humbly able to ask as well, right? Because if we know we're a good person to work with, we can also not just post, we can also ask people that we're open to do something with them. And when we mention it up front, people will go like, well, actually she's a nice person. Now that she asked for something, maybe I can give it to her. Because I realize sometimes when we don't ask enough, we don't get anything. And it's okay for us to ask, because we're not begging for business. We're actually trading our value, our virtues, and that people can expect a pleasurable working relationship with us. Why not, right? Maybe they go like, okay, she's looking for business. You know what? I think I want to be her client. So I think, just to add on, just to humbly ask. If we don't ask, sometimes we don't get anywhere. Thank you so much, Gladys. Tufail, going back to the question, before you were talking us about getting testimonials. So after you were off for a while, we all agreed that, okay, after this, we're probably going to give each other testimonial, because it contributes to value, right? Because it elevates our personal brand. So
Yeah.
I just want to wrap that up. It's a very good point that you mentioned, because I do so many LinkedIn Live, for example, as a collab, and I never thought of it. Okay, it's funny. I should have. Okay, Abhilekh, could you give me a recommendation? Or Gladys, could you give? I never did it, and I think I want to do from now on. But the next question is about monetizing. So I want your opinion about how can people start monetizing on their personal brand, and how soon can they do that?
Yeah. I would also like to wrap up that last where from where I logged out. That brand perception and brand values, whatever you have been doing in your personal branding, whatever you have been doing with your customers, all will come out as a feedback or as a recommendations from your peer, from your friends, from your family, from your professionals, from your colleagues, from your past bosses, from your past companies, employees, and from your customers whom you have been serving. So this is really important, because whenever we have been searching to consume any brand or to buy any online brand, we go for a reviews. We search for the reviews. So similarly, people will go for our reviews, our personal brand reviews as well, that how we have been dealing with our customer, and what about them in a review section. Now, moving on to the next question, I would like to go with the LinkedIn policy and LinkedIn philosophy of starting the conversation. Means if you want to monetize, you have to start the conversation, and as soon as you start the conversation, you will be monetized with anything. But if you start selling, then you will not be monetized, or you will be monetized for a short term only. So I always try to adopt the policy and the philosophy of LinkedIn to start the conversation. And when you start the conversation, it does not mean you start selling about your products or services, or about your company products or services. You start the conversation, you engage the person, and then it will automatically you will automatically get the monetization for your services. But and that's why we always say, make a customer, not a sale. And we always do this mistake. We go for the selling point rather than engaging that customer or making them as a customer. We want to sell them something initially in starting the conversation.
Thank you so much. Actually, I love that point. I was doing research on social selling and I totally believe it. And starting from the comment section is an indication that you can start a conversation back and forth. And I think if you treat your customer like a friend, hey, can I help you? Is there a problem you're having? Is there something you want to tell me? Maybe I can do something for you. And I think people will be so comfortable from the very beginning, these kind of small gestures, knowing that some care for them. And then when you care for your customer, obviously they will never move on to someone else because you're irreplaceable in terms of that friendship. And I meet so much friends from my customer. People I intend to be my customers, they end up becoming my friends, and we just support each other all the way. Why would we change, right? Because we're so comfortable with these people already. That's amazing. Now we want to go to some individual questions. So specifically with what you do. For those of you tuning in, I've seen some questions in the comment section. Feel free to continue to add more questions. If we cannot answer it today, I'm sure the expert is going to come back to the comment and personally reply it to you. So Abhilekh, let's start with you. When did you decide to do personal branding, and what impact has it have on you in your first year?
So I started when I was 22. I was in my MBA first year. I was just getting into second year, and I just got my website, and I started investing in terms of developer, to make sure the website looks good. It was a WooCommerce website, so people can buy products like an e-cart. I saw great results in my first year, but yes, I didn't get amazing results. So there's always patience that I feel when it comes to personal brand you should have. You're not going to see results in your very first year in a great value, but if you see let's say from 2 to 5 years, you're going to get a great value, but you need to be consistent online. So this is something as a learning for all of the ones who really want to start with personal branding. But start as early as possible in your career, just like you go for online investment, whether it be mutual funds or equity shares. You start in your personal branding as soon as possible. Don't wait for you to become 30 or 35 years and then think about, okay, now I have a lot of savings, I'll go for personal branding. Don't think about that, just go for it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Gladys, coming to you. You are an advocate for building or creating a culture of character. And how is it helpful to personal brand for business?
Well, a lot of business these days have turned to be personal, right? We know that. So sometimes it is too personal to someone's liking. But actually, if you don't get personal, it's very hard to be in the market because everyone's out there. So when you're on social media, show yourself and expose yourself to get noticed, right? But here I'm talking about to get noticed by your characteristics, to show your sincerity, your accountability, your reliability, or show your thoughtfulness or your gratitude, show your determination, your moderation, your care, or your sense of service to others, or your unity or your sense of justice, or your hope. Show your honor, show your humility, your cooperation, right? Your initiative. The list goes on. There's so many virtues for us to practice on a daily basis. So this is the personal branding that I'm talking about. It's really about identity branding, about character branding.
Thank you so much, Gladys. That also let me know that when I first started on personal branding, right, because I'm obviously a stay-home mom back then, I realized that I don't have much to showcase about myself. But that's where I improve first in my personal branding. Say I want to be more thoughtful, maybe I want to be more considerate, maybe I want to be more sensitive. And I work on my character before I, have the confidence to tell people that's the person I am. So I guess personal branding sets a little bit of pressure for us to look into ourselves and decide, okay, maybe I want to be more of this, okay, and I should do something For example, maybe you want to be more generous, doing more charity work. And these are stories you can tell only if you truly believe in that virtue and build on it yourself. We can never showcase ourselves as somebody who we are not in real life. It's really hard to fake that the way through. So, and this is a chance to develop our own identity. Thank you so much for that. Now, Tufail, I have a question for you. Basically, you talked just now about starting a conversation, and I so agree. And I know recently you also made contact with me, and I think it's very nice, it's very subtle how you get to contact with me directly, working on potential collaboration. So I want to ask your strategies, your professional tips, okay, on how you can advise people how to start a conversation with a potential client. You did all your personal brand, you built a great review, testimonials. So how can you then, have confidence? What are some ways we can just approach people or something? Or should we ask them questions for them to answer us first? Should we do a survey? What are your strategies?
Yeah, thank you. I think research of the potential client means if that client especially is on LinkedIn, so that's icing on the cake, because on LinkedIn you can see the all activities of that potential client, what he or she is liking, where she or he is commenting, what she or he is commenting, and which are the articles they published, and which are the posts, which are the images they liked. So you can have lots of information of that potential client, and based on that you can start your conversation. These days, what I saw, there are lots of sales professionals who do a mistake, is that they start the conversation without going into the feeds or activities of that potential client, and that go mostly wrong, because that potential client that abruptly say that I'm not interested. So you have to have that point where that potential client start the conversation as well. It does not depend on you that you start the conversation only. It will depend on both of them, both of you, your potential client and you both start the conversation and take it to the next level. Means you have to, even if there's a birthday of your potential client, so you have to send that birthday greetings, and you don't have to send the standard greetings of the LinkedIn what they have. You have to personalize that message and start the conversation about that, about with that potential client. So research about the potential client, whether they are on the LinkedIn or Facebook, or searching them on the Google or any other platform, and then start the conversation. And what you rightly said about the questions, so I prefer also that question is questions are the strategies which you can adopt in all your conversation, that you have to keep asking about questions so that you can better know about your potential client more and more, and then you elevate that conversation, and you transfer that potential client to your customer.
Thank you so much. I think I totally agree with you. There's no point pitching to somebody you don't know anything about. You cannot solve somebody else's problem if you don't know what is their problem. And you're right about LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is amazing compared to Facebook and Instagram, because on Instagram, right, you can never know the person history. How much bio can they type on Instagram? And on Facebook, people don't tell everything, your work history. They don't really share everything. But on LinkedIn, that's exactly what the function is. So they have to say their experience, their last job, whether they are in the decision maker role, and you can even see on LinkedIn the activity, their last 10 activities. What kind of conversation are they participating? What kind of posts do they like? That means they're interested in those kind of topics. And you can smartly put together a persona of this person and what they're looking for at the moment. And of course, if it matches with what you do, that's the right way to seep into a conversation, by highlighting something that they are clearly interested in. So I like it. To everyone out there, do not pitch to people that you know nothing about, but you can still find out something about them by actually going through research and reading their bio. Now we've come to the end of our panel discussion. We have one last question, which obviously we always end up with sharing advice again. And I think everything that we share today has been extremely valuable. Despite all three of you coming from a same topic, you come from different angles, and actually all of them kind of make sense. We have to work on ourselves. We have to know how to do sales, and what should we do when we want to pitch somebody. So I think it's really rich with a lot of tips that our audience today can take away. And therefore, I just want to top up. If you want anything to add on, starting with Abhilekh, what are the key lessons you learned in your experience that you want to share that you've missed before sharing with us?
I think one important thing what I've really learned all these years is, always try to look on the bright side. Don't think on the negative side. Be positive, and work until the work is done. So make sure you're not, giving your 50% or something like that. Always give your 100%. Make sure to complete the work, and always learn how to change the situation, not the person. So you can't change a person altogether. So just change the situation, because people are different. Some are introverts, some are extroverts, so they behave differently. So try to change the situation, not the person. And something very important right now, I feel right now, is be genuinely interested in others, right? So make connecting with others a priority. Okay, don't just send random requests on LinkedIn, to people whom you really just want to add randomly. So be genuinely interested in them. That really will help a lot in terms of a long-term growth. So that is some of the key lessons I have learned in my entire career.
Thank you so much. I like when you mentioned where people should focus less on being interesting, but more interested in other people. And that will be a real difference. And of course, you will mention negativity. I'm very sure that people sometimes start personal branding and they don't get results, or they get a lot more rejections than they do with positive responses. But it's okay. That doesn't mean you have to quit personal brand, right? You just look on the bright side. Maybe your offer does not match what that person needs, and you move on and find new prospects. Gladys, how about yourself? Any last minute advice, key lessons you want to share from your experience?
Yeah. So very quickly, two things. One is it's all a balancing act, really. Although virtues are positive and good, right? But being mindful that at times our leading virtues, which are our strengths, can be in the way of a success or a problem-solving situation. Because then after that we need to be mindful, of course, and then we need to balance our leading characteristics with other virtues to get the results that we want. So it's really a balancing act. Two, the second one is that life is a learning journey. So keep looking out for how you can keep strengthening your character, your identity, your inner qualities. And because life is a learning journey, we want to keep growing and improving all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I also believe that sometimes when we feel that we are lost, we don't know what to do, what's the next step, we can always, take a look at somebody else's and how they're doing it, and how they showcase themselves, what kind of character, and then get inspired to develop that kind of character as well. And maybe, use their strategy, tweak it for our strategy, and improve from there. When I was just a short story, when I was a stay-at-home mom for so long, I couldn't speak English as well as I do now, because I've been with kids under 4 years old for 7 years. So you can imagine my language, my communication is so down. But when I wanted to go out there, the first thing I did was try to see how people communicate. And when I see how people speak, how people string their sentences together, what kind of words they use, what kind of intonation they use, eventually with the willingness to learn, like Gladys says, you start adapting all this here and there, bits and pieces. And then I go home and I practice the way I speak, and that improves naturally. And you don't have to go to a school for this. You can learn from everyone around us. They always have value to give. So Tufail, moving on to you, what are your key lessons that you learn in your experience? Any last minute advice?
Yeah. Uh, Beginning with the quote again, readers are leaders. So my advice is skill yourself, and learn things. There are lots of applications other than Facebook and LinkedIn you can download on your mobile. There are McKinsey application, TEDx, and there are lots of other LinkedIn Learning. There are lots of other applications other than games, and there are many other productive applications as well which you can download for your learning. There are lots of things other than YouTube videos. People mostly depend on only the YouTube videos, the YouTube tutorials, the YouTube learnings, the YouTube training. So there is a Udemy, there is a Coursera, there is a free courses as well around the world, which universities, there are lots of universities have been offering. So skill yourself, make your SWOT analysis, make your personal development plan, and accordingly try to learn, try to read daily, on a daily basis. because if you don't skill yourself, if you don't learn anything, so you will not be able to do anything, whether you are doing on your personal branding or whether you are doing for a professional reputation. So I don't think so you can do anything if you don't have any learning, or you don't learn yourself, skill yourself on a daily basis. If you think that you have done everything and you have done a PhD and you don't want to learn anything now, and you have made your personal brand, so you know about those brands, those consumer brands which have vanished, which have outdated in 2021 because they did not change themselves. Now there is a StreamYard technology. Now we have a Zoom, and there are lots of technologies which are vanished from here, which are disappeared because they did not change themselves. So similarly, it depends on personal branding and human nature as well. That if you learn yourself, so you keep yourself updated, and if you are outdated, so then you cannot do anything.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I like that you specifically also mentioned there's a lot of technology tools that can elevate and showcase your persona better, more than just writing a post on the day-to-day basis. So, and that people should take advantage of this technology. We're living in an amazing era. Most of the technology tools is free of charge, or at least a very small nominal fee. It can help continue to carry on the conversations or build actual genuine relationships. And we should all be open to doing business more than outside our comfort zone. Just to add on, I want to say that now that we're online, we should not take advantage of finding clients just within our area. We should take the risk, the opportunity to service clients from another country, another place, and that builds up our credibility, our profile as well. So I want to say my final thank you for the experts for spending some time with us discussing an amazing topic on personal branding, and for all those audience joining us as well on all our social media platforms. Thank you so much. So we'll end off, but don't forget to sign up for any of their free webinars and upcoming workshops on spendlessacademy.com. So we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.